Hi everybody, welcome to the Ask Svet about the crypto channel where I analyze and review white paper. And here is Chris. He's one of the co-founder of the DEN, Decentralized Educational Nexus, where Chris during the past year acquired a tremendous experience with dealing with different coins. That's why he now in my channel act as an expert. So he's going to be asking me questions concerning my review, which I'm going to be reading from that screen. I hope it will work, and please send your comments, and I will be glad to respond to it. So shall we begin?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. So when I first read the VeChain white paper, I decided actually to spare everybody's time and not to review it. However, the growing popularity of this blockchain now induced me to change my mind. And today I want to rank and read this white paper on the tokenomics rating, because I have several scales, and these tokenomics include sustainability, value, engagement, and transactions. Okay. So that's a subscale. So this work contains 113 pages. It's actually very, very big, and includes two huge paragraphs, 20 pages in total, named the governance model and design and the board of steering committee, which describes a multi-level administrative pyramid of what authors call VeChain ecosystem.
Multi-level administrative pyramid.
Exactly. I use here, it's not exactly blockchain we're talking here about. It's more like maybe some organization on top of the blockchain.
Yeah, that's my initial impression, just based on hearing that description. So we'll see a little bit more about what VeChain is all about as far as business centralization, decentralization, as we learn more.
Yeah, that stands actually out when you read it. It's very, very rare. I can actually read anything like this in any other book paper, and people dedicate 20 pages.
Yes.
Okay, so although this paper also includes 20 pages of architecture and application development section, reading it provided me with only a very vague picture of the proposed system design. It's also produced an impression that authors just stitched several so-called technical texts together, and they even give them a name which sounds technical. For example, standard API gateway. It doesn't say anything. It can be anything than hashed storage services or digital ownership of blockchain. So there are a number of those sections, and all of them, they are under one paragraph which named architecture and application development. Of course, you can make some vague idea what they're talking about, but not, it doesn't provide any precise information of what they're doing.
Was there any like substantial content within those sections that you found that made sense, that where they were actually describing something unique to their project?
It's more like somebody took some kind of booklet which describes
someone else's content.
I wouldn't try to accuse these guys in this.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe they are paraphrasing somebody else or something. But even if you do that, by the end of all of that, supposedly they have to provide me with architecture or some design, but I didn't find that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So any comments on this one?
I mean, my thought would be that in my opinion, the most important part of a white paper is describing the exact what you're building, like the architecture behind it. So if that's not accurately being gotten across by this white paper, then I feel like it's lacking in a core thing that a lot of people would need to, determine what value is being created out of it.
And here's their vision. I'm citing by the text. The vision of VeChain is to build a trust-free and distributed business ecosystem platform to enable transparent information flow, efficient collaboration, and high-speed value transfers. It doesn't say anything.
The only thing that I pull out of that is you get that they're focused on businesses.
It's right. So that's what I say. Basically, VeChain is supposed to be something like online business cooperative, which besides business owners, that's a category of their owners, include users, include application, smart contract, and infrastructure service providers. So they have 4 types of users, and they divided each of the different to 4 different sections. Then VeChain Foundation, it's another participant, is by the words of its authors. Listen to that. Decentralized organizations formed by the decentralized VeChain community to carry on day-to-day operations. How do you like that?
I don't think I like that.
I didn't like that either.
Personally, that is an interesting way to describe anything in the blockchain space.
It's centralized, decentralized. You confuse me. You lost me, guys.
But maybe it's lost in translation.
Maybe, but who cares? That's a public white paper. I'm not inventing anything. I'm citing them. Okay, so then they continue. All of that must be run on the blood of the decentralized ecosystem VeChain token. VET, that it's basically ERS, ERC20, and VeChain Energy, VTHO. So VeChain Energy, that's the name, and the abbreviation is VTO. So basically, the role of VTHO to sort of like a gas. Anybody familiar with Ethereum blockchain, you know what gas is. You paid for transactions.
That's what powers transactions.
So continue. The way authors expect VeChain tokenomics, because we talk about tokenomics here, to work can be approximated as the following. A, for about 133 million VAT, 70% of the initial supply are supplied to the system through ICO. So first, they made 133 million ICO. So second, the rest of the VAT are dedicated by the chain inventors, yes, to various funds, and there are like many of them, and I cannot name all of them, so you can read it for yourself. Which main purpose, it's my opinion, but I couldn't find anything other purpose for these funds, is to support VeChain administrative structure.
So they're basically saying 30% of the tokens are ours.
Yes. But remember, they're selling 70% of the token and receiving money for this one, and then taking this money and distributing between their administrators, paying salaries. Well, you have to be paid, but guys, maybe you have to think about making like a, why we need committees up the committee. Okay, then I continue. They have VeChain's main governance body. That's the third step. I'm talking about economics. That's a supply and demand on the money circulation of the currency. So how it works. So VeChain main governance body uses VTHO generation model. Generation model to project issuance of their basically gas, VTHO. So citing the VTHO, generation the issuance of VeChain, which then has to be injected into the system and purchased by users to conduct their day-to-day transactions. So now citing, based on the VTO generation model, we can estimate the supply and demand of the token for each given day and dynamically for 1 year, and the VeChain mainnet is officially launched. After the mainnet is officially launched.
So the VET token is a finite amount, or you can create more of those as well?
That's a very good question. So VET token has a finite amount.
Okay.
But gas token, it's such a confusing name. VTHO, they are not.
And so they did lay out the governance for how the gas token, the VTHO, is generated, though.
Exactly. So what they did, it's my opinion again, what they did, they expect their chain to profit from selling the gas to the people who making transaction.
Yeah.
And that's where my critique begins, because I cannot even run this type of scientific socialism token model objectively, because I need to take into consideration that there's kinds of centrally planned monetary system still exist. So, but of course in their more modern form, and that is sustainability, because we have sustainability rating, due mostly to the strong administrative support, might be surprisingly high. So although I don't think that's a good idea, still sustainability is high. As a result of that, I rank it as a B minus. So I got IBC, right, and B minus. It's not so bad a rating.
I mean, I can see how if they get some form of interest, they could make it. They could get the project to run to a certain point where it lasts.
Exactly, because when you work on a centralized model, you can put some effort. You have huge administrative apparatus, and you have money. You just issue tokens, so you have muscles to support it.
Exactly.
Whether it's workable model or not workable model, who cares, right? You can like maybe last 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saying. Okay, so then the second parameter is engagement. Engagement of this type of tokenomics, specifically with some categories of users, might be also stronger than we expect. So when we talk about engagement, I'm talking about how many users will such a type model attract. And again, what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Some users can be actually excited about that.
I mean, if we're just taking the centralized versus decentralized lens and looking at that, people use centralized services all the time. So if they do provide some amount of other value and people don't care about the way that they generate gas or potentially make money off of you paying the gas, if they're still providing a service, then people can utilize it. That is to be seen if the experience of actually being a part of the network is positive in comparison to other projects.
Exactly. So that's why I rank it B minus. So I cannot rank it like a B because it's probably not going to last too much.
It's still questionable.
Yeah, because yes, questionable, but it's still engagement may be strong because people. I wouldn't say most people, but many people, they don't care whether it's centralized and it's working. Okay, I mean, why not? So, however, I refuse to be optimistic about that token value. So, value of the token, everybody can understand what value is, right? If you have some value, it shouldn't be diminishing with time, right? If you have home, it should be rising in price if it's a good home. But I put my rank value of this token as a C. It's a lowest rating, which will, because this token will likely to regress. Whilst VeChain administrators are tempted to issue more and more VTHOs into this circulation. So what happens? They issue VTHOs, right? And then they exchange them to fiat.
Yeah.
And then because that's the nature of centralized system. Even if you declare have 1,000 millions of committees, all committees consist of people. People wanna feed their families, and they will be tempted to do that. So I don't trust such a type of system. So, some comments?
I mean, just overall, it seems like this model is contradictory to what the general movement of the market of most projects is. That's my opinion. That's what I see. When you look at at least they made it very clear that they have this centralized structure. That is going to be very heavily engaged in driving wherever VeChain is going to go. So I would almost look at this as this is based on what I've heard from you so far. I would almost look at it the same way I would approach looking at a company itself. Like, what are they providing? What value is there? How many people are going to be engaging with it? And how is VeChain going to sustain itself? Exactly,
because mostly how we users have a negotiation with the companies through their tokens, right? So basically, right.
Yeah.
So that's how we relate ourselves to the most of the companies in our space. We relate through the tokens, and if this tokens model kind of pushing us to the more centralized model, and then correspondingly the value of your tokens start to fall because there is so much of the administrative influence on how much token you can issue. Of course, they say that, okay, we have some kind of model, but, okay, it's a mathematical model. There is none in that white paper which says me about how where's the market forces? Why don't they use even the simplest model which Ethereum use, right? When we have a supply demand of gas and depends on how many gas available on the market and so on. No, they don't tell it that. Tell us about that. This is
the most important part, I would say. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's why I rank value on EC, and then there is a transaction part in the rating. I also value C because obviously as time goes by, you want to raise the prices. If you are, they're monopolists. There's people building the system, and they're building the system where a different part will be supposedly cooperating between themselves. They're going to be businesses, maybe banks, somebody else. They're going to be exchanging tokens, and they're going to be overseen by many, many committees. It's just like I've seen it, like
seen this before.
Yes, we all seen it, right? So they are recreating some kind of very familiar to all of us governance model, which is basically, one guy on the top, everybody doing what this guy says. Well, committee, non-committee, stays the same. It's not the point of decentralized system. Decentralized system, by definition, must be get rid of that type of structure. Okay. Anyway, sorry that you have some comments because we're running out of time.
No, I think I've seen what I need to. I'm glad that I now see what they're doing and how it's different than a lot of other people. So.
Excellent. So I think we more or less agree on the substance and the rating. So tokenomics ratings against sustainability, value engagement, transaction of the VeChain is B minus, C, B minus, and a C. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Please find my other video in the internet. Thank you for your participation. Send me a question. Here was me, Svet Sedov. Look at my Telegram channel, ask Svet about crypto, and here's...
Yeah, and check us out at theden.io. We're working closely with Svet, and we do a lot of blockchain education, workshops, training for enterprises. So yeah, go check us out.
Thank you so much. See you. Bye.